Many towns and cities of the world claim to be haunted. Some are the site of strange chemical or nuclear accidents. But what makes a place truly weird is often just the behavior of the people who live there. Like the Egyptian town that just loves trash, the Brazilian village where women make the rules, and the secret American city rife with sexual promiscuity and illegal drugs whose inhabitants are like no one else in the world. Intrigued? Me too! Let's take a look at the 7 strangest towns and cities on Earth. At number 7, the Birthplace of Champions. Who's your hometown local sporting hero? If you're from Akron, Ohio, it's probably Stephen Curry. If you were born in Madeira, Portugal, it'll be Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you're from Sandtown, South Africa, you'll probably worship, never mind. But if you were born in the central-Ethiopian town of Bekoji, your sporting hero might be your neighbor, your best friend, or even yourself. Because from a population of just over 17,000 people, Bekoji has given birth to an astonishing 30 World Championship-winning runners, 16 Olympic gold medalists, and countless more international-class athletes. This is a place where people live on less than $1.25 a day, yet their athletes kick bare ass against those from developed countries with fancy-pants facilities and expensive sneakers. So why is that? Bekoji athletes constantly test clean for doping, and their coach says their success is purely down to working hard and eating lots of barley. The local conditions of extreme temperatures and tough hilly landscapes probably play their part, but there's clearly something more to the people of Bekoji than meets the eye. And that's why right now, there's probably a dozen more kids sprinting across the hills in the heat of the desert, building themselves into the next generation of Ethiopian Olympians. At 6, the Kingdom of the Little People. The Kingdom of the Little People near the Chinese region of Kunming isn't an official town or village, but it may as well be, given that there are several hundred people living here, each of whom is less than 4 feet tall. Also known as the Dwarf Village, it operates as a theme park for people with dwarfism and was founded in 2009 by Chinese millionaire Chen Mingjing. All the park's employees live together in a nearby village specifically constructed for people of restricted growth. And with tourist numbers rising, the owner hopes one day to employ and home 1,000 little people here. Some organizations have criticized the park, but many of its inhabitants say living here gives them both a sense of identity and community, helping them feel less lonely, build self-esteem, and enjoy a stable income. So whilst this village may not produce any first-class ballers anytime soon, the Kingdom of the Little People at least provides refuge for those seeking to escape the cruel exploitation of their dwarfism. In at 5, the Hell Town. Hi there, and welcome to Centralia, literally the hottest place to live in Pennsylvania right now. Oh, we've got everything you'll ever need, including a church, a cemetery, a toxic underground coal mine fire that just won't quit. Oh, the kids just love it. Or at least they would, if any children lived here. Centralia was once a thriving town of over 1,000 people. But today, just 10 people remain, thanks to the outbreak of a huge fire that's raged in the coal mines below since 1962. Some speculate that the fire was started deliberately to allow a private company to obtain rights to minerals under the town, with the hope people would up and leave when everything started looking like the devil's wet dream. But whilst most of Centralia's inhabitants did the sensible thing and moved after the town was condemned in 1992, those who remain have been allowed to stay until they die, which could be sooner rather than later given their age and how dangerous this place is. At the moment, there's just one guy aged under 30, with the rest between 50 and 84 years old, and the fire is expected to outlast them all, with it estimated to burn for another 250 years. In at 4, the home of the Amazon women. Noiva de Cordio, sounds like every man's wet dream, because for most of the year, this town of 600 people in southeastern Brazil is made up entirely of women. Their community was founded in 1891 by a woman driven out of her own town for adultery. But if you're thinking about heading over there to get your pelvis crushed with some of that sweet, sweet snoo-snoo, think again. Whilst many of the women here are single, they refuse to allow men to live here permanently for fear it will upset the delicate balance their town has achieved without them. The few women who are married only allow their husbands to visit on weekends. And in their place, the ladies take charge of every aspect of town life, from tending the fields and planning construction, through to religion and enforcement of law. Sorry, Beyonce, your feminist crown has been taken. Number 3. The Indian Utopia. Whenever you hear a story about a spiritual commune of people dedicated to financial equality, personal harmony, and human unity, it usually ends with the words, "There were no survivors." But far from being a cult, the experimental town of Oroville in India is still thriving to this day. Founded in 1968 by Mira Elfalza, also known as the Mother, this settlement in Tamil Nadu state contains over 2,000 people, each of whom abides by no rules, exchanges no money, and only works for the benefit of the community. Visitors are charged a guest fee, but those who wish to stay are allowed to regardless of race or religion. Only 50% of the town are ethnic Indians, with the rest comprised of 40 different nationalities, most of whom are European. Oroville's diversity is epitomized by its grand central temple called the Matrimandir, a spectacular golden dome open to public and locals for worshiping whoever they want. So is this place a prime example of how perfect humanity society could be if we all just got along? Yeah, I guess so. Aside from the allegation that Oroville has been accused of harboring pedophiles. Damn it, humanity, we were so close. In at 2, Garbage City. If Captain Planet was a real guy, and I pray every day that he is, he'd probably build his lair in the city of Mansiat Nasser, Egypt, because this place just loves it some recycling. One whole district is nicknamed Garbage City because it's where the nearby city of Cairo sends all its trash to be dumped, and not in a landfill site either, but on the streets, on its parks, and the doorsteps of the people who live there. But instead of complaining about it, the inhabitants of Mansiat Nasser decided to base their entire economy on recycling the capital city's junk. Many families specialize in collecting one specific thing, such as glass or electronics, and these items end up being recycled into products that are later sold by the city's industries. With feral pigs to fight for the trash, and with no running water or electricity, life in Mansiat Nasser is pretty tough. But these hard-working people seem to be making the best of it. And if you've ever wondered where Oscar the Grouch takes his vacations, now you know. And at number 1, The Villages. On the surface, Florida's The Villages sounds like a pretty exciting and dangerous place to live. Drug use is rampant, bar fights occur almost every day, and there are 10 women for every 9 men living here. But before you buy a plane ticket, there's one thing you should know. This is a retirement city, and the old people who live here are pretty dang nasty. The Villages is home to over 150,000 people whose average age is 66 years old. And with a few small exceptions, they don't allow anyone under 19 to live here permanently. It is required that 80% of all homes have someone 55 or older residing within them. Yet despite these restrictions, The Villages was actually America's fastest growing city for 2 years until 2014. Because of its status as a gated community, there's only ever been one murder in its history. But that doesn't mean it's a peaceful place by any means. The old folks here frequently engage in fights. They've been caught drunk driving and making out in golf carts. There's been a huge rise in sexually transmitted diseases, and the city is also gripped by a huge black market trade in Viagra. These are our grandparents, people. This is what they're doing when they pretend they're playing chess in the park. But hey, if you think this is bad, just imagine what our generation's going to get up to when we retire. So that's our list. If you're not too grossed out by the idea of old geezers getting high and horny, why not check out your own future In our recent video on 7 ways the human race might develop,